the evil woman who fed her husband human flesh. Long ago, when the earth was young and the spirits still walked openly among men, there stood a village called Oru Hill, resting between a wide river and a forest that never slept. The forest was old, older than memory. Its trees bent like listening elders, and its paths changed for those who walked with wicked hearts. In Oru Hill lived a man named Toma. Toma was a quiet man. He spoke little, worked hard, and carried kindness like a second shadow. He farmed yams and millet, fished the river at dawn, and shared food with those who had none. Children trusted him. Elders blessed him. Even strangers felt safe when they stood near him. Toma had a wife named Sira. Sira was beautiful in a way that made people pause. Her eyes were sharp like polished stone. Her voice was soft, but it did not warm the heart. She smiled often, yet her smile never reached her eyes. Still, beauty can hide many things, and the village praised Toma for marrying well. At first, their home seemed peaceful. But peace that is built on lies does not last. From the day Sira entered Toma's house, strange things began to happen. The fire sometimes burned without wood. Shadows moved where no one stood. Food tasted sweet at first bite, then bitter after. Toma noticed, but he said nothing. Sira cooked every meal. She did not allow Toma near the kitchen fire. "This is a woman's duty," she would say gently. Toma respected her and stepped away. The food Sira made was rich. Too rich. After eating, Toma often felt heavy, as though his spirit had been tied to the ground. His dreams became restless. He saw faceless figures calling his name. He woke with sweat and fear, though no harm had come to him. Still he trusted his wife. Unknown to him, Sira was not as she seemed. Before she came to Oru Hill, Sira had lived near the dark grove, a forbidden place where lost souls whispered and ancient powers waited. There, she learned secrets no human should seek. She made promises to shadows. She desired power, control, and unending influence. The spirits told her to bind a man's spirit fully, feed him what no human should eat. And Sira listened. In the village lived a young orphan boy named Leko. He had no parents and slept near the edge of the forest. He helped people carry water and fetch firewood. He smiled often even when hungry. One evening Sira called Leko to her door. "Come," she said kindly. "I have food for you." That night the forest grew silent. The next morning Leko was gone. Days passed. Then weeks. Children whispered. Elders asked questions. But Sira wept loudly and said she had seen nothing. Her tears were many and her voice shook. People believed her. After that, others disappeared. Always the weak. Always those without protectors. And always after Sira had been seen walking toward the forest with a basket. Toma did not know. But his spirit knew. Each meal tied him deeper. His strength faded. His laughter died. His eyes lost their light. He became obedient without knowing why. Sira's voice began to rule his thoughts. "Do not go there. Do not ask that. Stay home." And he obeyed. One night, an old woman named Maino came to Toma's door. Her back was bent, but her eyes were clear like morning water. She looked at Toma and gasped. "Your shadow is broken," she said. Toma laughed weakly. "How can a shadow break?" Maino shook her head. "Not the shadow on the ground. The shadow of the soul." Sira appeared and smiled sweetly. "Old mother, you are tired. Go home." Maino did not move. She looked at Sira and the air became heavy. "You walk with the forest spirits," Maino said. "But not the good ones." Sira's smile froze. That night, Maino burned herbs and called the ancestors. Smoke filled her hut. The spirits answered. "They have fed him forbidden food," the spirits said. "His spirit is bound, but not lost." Maino knew what she had to do. The next day she went to the river and met Toma while he fished. "Do not eat tonight," she told him, "no matter what your wife says." Toma felt fear rise in him, though he did not know why. "I will try," he whispered. That evening Sira cooked as always. The smell was strong. Her eyes watched him closely. "Eat," she said. Toma's hand shook. He remembered Maino's words. "I am not hungry," he said. Sira's voice hardened. "You will eat." The fire flared high. Shadows twisted on the wall. But something broke. Toma stood up. No. The word surprised them both. Sira screamed. The room shook. Her form flickered just for a moment like smoke in wind. Toma ran. He ran to Ma'ino's hut, collapsing at her feet. She covered him with white cloth and began the cleansing. For 7 days Toma ate only plain food and drank bitter herbs. His dreams returned to him. The faces faded. His strength slowly came back. On the 7th night the truth was revealed. The ancestors showed Toma visions. Not with detail but with understanding. He wept. His cries shook the earth. At dawn the elders gathered. Sira was brought before them. She laughed. You are weak, she said. You fear power. The forest answered her laughter with silence. Ma'ino raised her staff. You fed death to the living, she said. Now face judgment. The ground opened. Not violently but firmly. The spirits took Sira back to the shadows she served. When the earth closed, the forest breathed again. Peace returned to Ora Hill. Toma lived on, carrying sorrow but also wisdom. He rebuilt his life. He fed the hungry. He protected the weak. He told the children, not all smiles are kind. Not all food is safe. Guard your spirit as you guard your body. And the elders added, evil hides in secrecy. Light lives in truth. Till today when the forest grows too quiet, people remember Sira. And they teach their children never to follow sweet words without wisdom, because some hunger is not for food, but for power, and it always destroys the one who feeds it. The forest did not forget. Though Sira was gone, her shadow had left marks on the world, like footprints that rain refuses to wash away. In Oru Hill, peace returned slowly, the way dawn comes after a long night. Not all at once but little by little. Toma stayed away from his old house. The walls felt heavy, as if they still remembered whispered words and hidden acts. He built a small hut near the river, close enough to hear water speak at night. The river comforted him, carried things away. It did not hide secrets. Yet sleep did not come easily. Some nights Toma dreamed of the missing ones, not as bodies, not as pain, but as lights standing far away, watching him with calm eyes. They did not accuse him. That hurt more than anger would have. He woke many times with tears on his face. Ma'ino visited him often. She brought herbs, stories, and silence. Sometimes silence was the greatest gift. You survived, she told him one morning, sitting beside the river. But survival is only the first step. What is the second? Toma asked. To speak, she said. To warn. So Toma began to talk. He spoke to the elders first, then to the young men, then to the children. He told them how trust can blind the wise, how love without truth becomes a rope around the soul. He did not say Sira's name often. Names carry power, and he would not give her more. The village listened. But beyond Ora Hill, the story had already started moving, carried by traders, drummers, and travelers. Every story changes as it walks, and soon, people spoke of a woman who wore beauty like a mask and fed darkness to the innocent. Not all who heard believed. Far from Ora Hill lay a settlement called Banu, built on red earth and pride. The people of Banu trusted strength over wisdom. When they heard the tale, they laughed. Stories to scare children, they said. In Banu lived a man named Kallo, a hunter known for his courage. He had lost his wife years before and lived alone. One evening a stranger arrived, soft-spoken, veiled, and weary. Her name was Mira. She said she had fled hardship. She said she wanted only peace. Her voice was gentle, and her eyes never stayed in one place too long. Kallo welcomed her. The elders felt unease, but they said nothing. The people of Banu did not like doubt. Slowly, strange things began again. Not the same. Evil never repeats itself exactly. It learns. Food disappeared. Children wandered too close to the forest. Dreams turned restless. One night, a traveling drummer arrived in Banu. He was old and carried scars on his hands. He told stories for food. As he played, he sang of Ora Hill, of a man named Toma, of a woman who walked with shadows. Mira stiffened. The drummer's eyes met hers, and he faltered. His hands shook. After the song, he packed quickly and left without asking for payment. That night the wind howled. Mira vanished before dawn. The people of Banu found nothing but footprints leading into the forest, footprints that ended too suddenly. Fear spread. Word reached Ora Hill. Ma'ino listened, then nodded slowly. Evil is stubborn, she said. But it is also afraid. Toma stood taller than he once had. I will go, he said. You will not go alone, Ma'ino replied. 3 others joined him. Joro, a young man with quick eyes. Pella, a woman whose voice calmed angry crowds. And Samu, a boy who had once slept hungry, now grown strong. They traveled village to village, not hunting people but teaching truth. They spoke of warning signs, of secrecy, of control, of food that binds the spirit instead of strengthening it. They did not spread panic. They spread awareness. The forest listened. Over time, disappearances stopped. The shadows retreated. The land felt lighter. Years passed. Toma grew older. His hair turned white, but his eyes were clear. Children sat at his feet and begged for stories. Tell us about the evil woman, they said. Toma shook his head gently. Soft forest sounds, gentle river flowing in the background. Narrator, calm, deep voice. Long ago, when the forests were older than memory and spirits still walked freely among humans, there was a village called Ora Hill. The people lived simply, farming, fishing, and raising their children with care. But as all stories in the world, darkness sometimes creeps quietly into the hearts of those we trust the most. This is the story of Toma, a kind man whose heart was pure, and the woman he married, Sira, whose beauty hid secrets too terrible to speak aloud. Scene 1. Toma and Sira, 1:30 to 5 o'clock. Sounds of morning birds, river water splashing, soft market chatter. Narrator. Toma was gentle, quiet, and humble. Every day he tended his farm and fished by the river. He shared food with neighbors and strangers alike. The village trusted him, and even the children felt safe when he walked by. One day Toma married Sira, a woman of extraordinary beauty. Her eyes were sharp and bright, and her voice flowed like soft music. But appearances, as the elders say, can be deceiving. Scene of Toma and Sira entering the village. Villager 1, whispering, she is so beautiful. Toma has married well. Villager 2, cautious, beauty hides much. Remember that. Narrator. Sira quickly took control of the household. She cooked meals, cleaned the home, and guided Toma away from work she said only women should do. Toma obeyed, trusting her completely. But soon strange things began to happen. Shadows lingered in the corners of the house, flames danced without wood, and Toma began to feel heavy, as if his spirit was slowly being tied to the ground. Scene 2. The first disappearances, 5 to 10 o'clock. Ominous music, night wind blowing. Narrator. In the village, children began to disappear. First, a small boy named Leko, an orphan who slept at the edge of the forest. Then, others who had no protectors. Sira would weep loudly, claiming she had seen nothing, and the villagers. No. I will tell you about wisdom. He told them that evil is loud at first but patient. That it hides behind kindness when kindness is not rooted in truth. That power without love always demands a terrible price. And when he could no longer walk far, Ma'ino came one last time. You did well, she told him. Toma smiled. I learned too late. No, she said. Late learning still saves lives. When Toma passed, the river flowed quietly. The forest did not whisper. The ancestors welcomed him. And across the land, mothers taught their children to ask questions, to notice silence, to share food openly, to trust light over charm. Because the greatest protection against darkness is not strength, but wisdom shared. And that is how the shadow finally lost its hold.